What's up, people? Welcome to this episode of the Buy the Hood podcast or webcast because I don't know how you're consuming this content. I'm your host as always. My name is Jimmy. And as we start off every show, that's with gratitude. Want to say thank you to everyone out there who supports us in any way possible. Special shout out to the students in Buy the Hood University. We appreciate all of your support, all the support online on the various sites. Special shout out to the folks that like our Facebook page. Our Facebook page just got monetized, which is pretty dope, and that's because of the support that everyone has shown us with the content we create, as well as my brilliant meme that you can see in my name. I am the meme legend. For those watching the video, with that being said, man, our platform is designed, as always, to highlight brothers and sisters who are doing amazing work in the community. That's whether they're building investment portfolios, doing community service, building businesses, whatever it is. We like to talk to people that look just like us, who are doing amazing things. But I'm joined by my partner in crime, as always, Core. Core, what's up, bro?
Man, every day above the ground is a good day. I don't, complaining ain't gonna make it no better, and complaining ain't gonna make it no worse. So, I'm out here living the dream, man, because I'm living.
No doubt. I heard that, man. How's the weather down there in Texas where you at, good brother?
It's actually not that bad because the incoming storms, you know what I mean, is actually knocking down some of this heat. So it ain't really been that bad.
Okay,
It's
that's
just
what's up,
regular
man.
summer weather.
Yeah, man. So we about to get this episode started, man. And this episode, we have another brother who we want to highlight. This brother's an investor, options trader. He trades options on a daily basis. He's also big in the cryptocurrency space as an investor. Want to get his perspective on everything going on in those various markets, as well as to tell his story, man. And without further ado, we have our brother Russell. Russell Hughes is in the building. Russell, what's up, bro?
Man, I can't call it. I can't
I heard
complain.
that.
And if I could, would you want to hear it?
No doubt, no doubt. Russ, man. We were talking before we came on, and I was telling you how I love your marketing because not only are you an options trader and a cryptocurrency investor, but you try to help other people get into the space as well. But your marketing is one thing that drew me to your page and how you tell history. But before we get into your marketing, let's take a step back and talk about your history. Where are you from? What part of the country are you from? Where'd you grow up at, and what kind of schooling did you have?
I'm from Philly. I was born and raised in Philly. I went to Lincoln Hall High School. After that, joined the military, and after I got out the military, I was having some problems because the military can do that to you. With holding down jobs and the way society is, if you can't hold a job down, you're lazy or something's wrong with you. But later on down the line, I learned I couldn't hold down a job because it wasn't meant for me to have a job. You understand?
Yeah. It's a little different when you realize that.
Yeah. And I want people to realize that, doesn't mean that you're lazy, you have problems with authority. The universe just doesn't want you to have a job. They want you to do what your talents.
All right, Russ, if you don't mind me asking, what branch of the military were you in?
I was in the Army. I spent some time as I was a parachute rigger. So basically, I jumped out of planes and jumped into battle. Crazy stuff.
First thing I think of is your threshold for as you're a trader as well as an investor. I'm like, well, you could probably deal with a lot of risk if you jumping out planes. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing I think of right there. But you said you from Philly, went into the military, but working wasn't for you. So my question to you is, in your upbringing, did you have any exposure to investors or traders or anything like that?
No, zero. My father was the first glazer, the first black glazer in Philly. Okay.
And, for the folks out there that might know what that means, explain what that means to be a glazer.
He was the guy that put the glass into buildings like Liberty 1 and Liberty 2.
Okay.
And the issue with that was he was always laid off because he was the only black guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a struggle sometimes growing up. So that's basically what I seen growing up, and I told myself I never want to be in that position.
Okay.
To where someone else controls my flow of money.
Okay, so I guess like originally it wouldn't have been investing. How did you actually come across the investment space? Like, I believe you said crypto was your first thing. So so what made you interested in the crypto space?
I had taken the Abacus Bitcoin class in late 2017.
Who introduced you to it? Let's start with that. Who's the one that gave you the exposure to it?
James Tompkins, actually.
Okay, James himself. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
How'd you meet James?
I was in a Black History group, and this brother named Jai Leck, John McLaughlin.
Okay.
He was in the Abacus, so I was liking what he was posting, and I was like, you know what? I started looking at his page, and he was talking about investing. And I was like, I always wanted to learn because, there was a story like right before Facebook went public, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was working at 1800 JFK, and the boss was like, look, if you have $1,000, I can get you into some pre-IPO shares of Facebook. And, I had the money, but I was like, nah. And now today I look at Facebook and I'm like,
I don't know whether you know this or not because this has happened to come up in conversation, but the day we're recording this, Facebook just hit an all-time high. I mean, I ain't trying to throw that in there, but you did see that though.
yeah, I was in it today, so I know.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. See, the thing is though, at the time you didn't have the knowledge of the information, so you didn't know what kind of deal you were getting.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's tough. So it went from like just networking in a history group. So you're a fan of history, and I talked about that a little bit in the beginning. We're gonna get into that.
Okay.
And you met brother James Tompkins, and shout out to brother James Tompkins, because he teaches all the folks that look like us how to get in the game.
Definitely.
But it started with crypto, and from crypto you then learned other forms of investing.
Yes.
And trading, right?
Yes.
But what was it about crypto that really got your attention to the point you went as far in as you have?
Once I learned you could be your own bank, you understand, that was what sold me, because we understand how racist these banks are, especially towards us. We put our money in. We don't get loans, or it's very difficult to get loans. They treat us horribly. So when they said being your own bank, I was like, that was what sold me, and that the people control it. The decentralization, that's where it's not controlled by the government or the bank.
So let me ask you this though, because you are someone that loves history, and I talked about your marketing in terms of using historical photos as well as stories to talk about investing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that your love of history is something that made you gravitate towards the cryptocurrency space? Because to me, that is an interesting part of crypto. When you talk about decentralization, when you talk about how our dollar was removed from the gold standard, historically speaking, and what that's done to inflation. Mm-hmm. Do you think it was those kind of things, your love of history, that made you really fall in love with crypto?
Yeah, because I started studying, money and currency also, and one thing I found out, every fiat currency in history has went to zero.
100%. I don't think a lot of people know that. Every single one throughout history has all went to zero. So you're studying a currency. I kind of figured that as you were talking. But go ahead. So your love of history drew you over there, and you went heavy into crypto, right?
Yes, yeah. Because the first cryptocurrency to fail was Black Greece, thousands of years ago over here in Mexico. And I mean, you just pick a currency, it has went to zero.
Yeah, every fiat.
Yes, and every 50 to 100 years a new currency comes out, right? And this is the 100th year, right? So I'm getting heavily invested because history repeats itself, and those who don't learn from it, are doomed to repeat it. Even Jerome Powell is speaking on Thursday about inflation.
Yeah.
He about to let everybody know what's coming. He ready to let the cat out the bag and tell people to get their, square up
And
or get squared up.
Yeah.
but what's interesting to me about like Jerome Powell and his conversations, like he's just flat out telling people like, yeah, we're just printing money. Like it's not even hidden anymore, right? So we talk about history, we talk about, and for those out there who may not have, and I have it literally sitting right here next to me, you want to learn that history, here's a great book, The Creature from Jekyll Island. Like,
that's an awesome book.
This is the blueprint. I'm actually studying this. It's like my fourth or fifth time reading it. But anyway, it was hidden then. He's now on TV. He was on 60 Minutes like, yeah, we're printing money, And I'm like, they just flat out telling you what it is. So you position yourself in cryptocurrency. Let's get back to your story. You position yourself in cryptocurrency, and you've also got involved in the stock market as well as options trading, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you trade options on a daily basis.
Yes.
So tell us what it's like to make that transition from someone, who grew up in, Philadelphia, went to the Army, and then you get into this space where you're trading options and, you're dealing with cryptocurrency. What kind of changes has it been for you?
Oh, man. When I first came into the markets, man, I still had my old mentality. So, I was losing. I'm just going to be honest with you. I was losing for a while. And I had to literally, reprogram myself, through like books on not necessarily trading and investing, but books on mindset. You understand? I had to really shift my mindset because even though I didn't want to become, even though I was an employee, I still had that mindset. And that was the hardest thing to go because it was like, what am I going to do now?
Would you consider that your biggest hurdle in changing your life to be going from employee to an investor? Would you say your biggest hurdle is mindset?
Yes, that is definitely the biggest, because when you see, when you're looking at your investments or your trade and it's going against you, it's like, what do? Do I stay in or do I get out? And in the beginning, I got out and I lost as soon as I would get out, the stock or the coin or the trade would just go back up. And I was like, wow. So, one thing, I would say about it is, I'm a chart reader. Okay. So the charts are a reflection of you. You understand? I had to learn that, if I'm nervous, the charts are nervous. If I'm confident, the charts are confident. So, once I changed my mentality, I learned how to use those charts because, you're in a play or you're in a stock or you're in a coin that millions of other people are in and they're making money and you're not, so.
Yes, that's an amazing point. I actually just wrote that down. That's an amazing point. Because a lot of times with traders, I think we forget that there's somebody on the other side of that trade. But the idea that the charts are a reflection of you. Can you dig a little deeper into that? Like, what do you exactly do you mean when you say the charts are a reflection of you?
Okay. When you're looking at, this, and this is coming from I am a chart reader. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, right, charts are basically, right, a chart is a chart, right? It's not negative or positive, it's neutral. Okay. Now, how you read the chart is based on your mindset. You understand?
Okay.
If you come into a trade, right, or an investment, thinking you're going to lose, that's exactly what the charts are going to say. If you think you're going to win, the charts will
Validate that
will
win.
have you to win.
Yeah.
The past 2 weeks, I've only been in plays for like maybe 1 to 5 minutes, and I've gotten like 40 to 60% returns.
Wow.
Because I've learned to trade just one pattern, right? And that one pattern works for me.
But it took you a while to get to that point, right?
Yes, it took me a while mentally to get to that point.
Mm-hmm. So what was it? What was it that gave you that breakthrough mentally, right? So, and you're not the first person to talk about like this transition, and the mental part is even more important than anything else. But what was it for you when it finally clicked? What helps you with that mental piece?
What helped me was I sat down and read this book called Trading Psychology. You understand? And I learned, excuse me, is that the reasons that we lose or win in trading is because of actually our upbringing, right? If you were raised in a family where money was tight, you're going to be tight with your trade. If it falls a little bit, you're out. As soon as you sell it, it goes, it'll start going in your direction, whether it's a call, put, whatever. And I had to dig back into my childhood, you understand, to understand why I was the way I was, and once I did that, my trading started improving.
That's interesting right there.
Yeah.
Do you know who wrote that book, by the way, by any chance? You said it's called Trading Psychology.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look that up.
I have it on Google. I got a copy of it on Google.
Yeah, I just want the name so I can add that to our books list for the folks out there listening to the podcast or watching. It will be in our recommended book section because I think that's interesting. I've never heard anyone say that, like they had to actually dig into their personal life and their past to help them become a better investor or trader. But it makes perfect sense the way you say that.
Yeah. Because, like I was a salesperson, right? I was into things like, reverse mortgages, subprime mortgages, debt settlement. And no, I didn't go to college for any of that. And what would happen is, the government would pass regulations. So it was like, it's over. It's over. So I had the mentality of, I could be on a good run and it's going to end. I always was looking for it to end, and because of my past experiences, and once I got past that, it really my trading just became insane.
Yeah, I've heard people talk about that. It's how you look at the world, whether you see it in abundance or scarce. That can dictate a lot in your life. But that's interesting, man. So I want to talk about your love of history because I see how you tie in history with finance. So for one, you talk about your love of history is what got you into the crypto space. Where does love of history come from? Is it something that you've always been interested in?
It's something I've always been interested in, but I was going through heavy depression and PTSD and other things, from the military. And I got hold of this book called When Rocks Cry Out by Horace Butler.
Okay.
And this brother, knows his stuff, for real. And once I learned that, all the histories are black, from Hesiod to Homer to Herodotus, all of that is black history that took place here in Americas. And it sparked the light. Like, wait a minute, we invented reading, we invented writing. You understand? We invented math, we invented everything. So you mean to tell me that all this in my DNA and I can't invest, I can't trade? No, we created this. It's basically in our DNA, and it's it taught me that this is that I was living under my lower, with my lower self, and I had to get back into my higher self to, which was mentality, what I'm saying, and belief and everything,
That's interesting because you think about how our youth, how they're educated and not getting this history, and you talk about what it did for you personally, just finding out, where you come from. That changed the way you saw everything.
Yeah. Like I have the real black faces of Adam, Eve, Moses, David, Alexander the Great, what I'm saying, and etc. Cain, Abel, I have these guys' black faces in their black history, and I don't know if you ever heard of the Olmec heads.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I know who a couple of them are.
Okay, so you've done the knowledge.
Yeah.
So all of that is what gave you kind of the audacity to move into this space and do well in the space. So that's amazing, man. So it's amazing how you tie those things together, man.
Yeah.
So my question is this though. So now you're trading crypto. Now you're as well as the options market.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of your long-term goals?
My long-term goals is I actually want to teach because I'm not worried about money. You understand that's coming. I want other brothers and sisters to really start taking this cryptocurrency space, you understand, seriously. Like I have there's a site, right, that I have where you can get 15% APR, actually, excuse me, 16% APR on stable coins, right?
Yeah.
And for anyone that doesn't know, it's a coin that is pegged to the US dollar, so it doesn't go up or down. People can put their money in that and get 15%, where the bank is only giving you what, a half percent?
Less than that. Less than that.
And they're taking that in fees. You understand?
Yeah, less than that. Although I will say this though, just to push back a little bit, like if we believe that the dollar is being deflated, you're probably better off in a regular Bitcoin as opposed to being in a stable coin. But I understand why you say that, because that takes away the fear that some people have of getting into space.
Yeah.
Have you read the book Bitcoin in Black America?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it's a pretty good book by Brother Zay, Bitcoin Zay. He was actually on our show, but he wrote a book called Bitcoin in Black America, and it's his belief in why all of our people should get into the space. But I think you'll like that based upon this conversation and what you're saying, why you think that people should take this asset class more serious.
Yeah.
Let's start with that though. Let me ask you about that though. And you trying to put people on to this space that you're passionate about, and you're passionate about it from your studies.
Mm-hmm.
What's the pushback? Like, how do people respond to that?
Most of the time, it's honestly fear-based, right? Because people fear what they don't understand. You understand? We weren't taught money and currency. You understand? Or at least I wasn't growing up, right? So, I try to explain to people that, currency can be anything. You understand? Like in the 90s in our neighborhoods, man, crack was currency. You could get things, with crack. I seen an ad, right, where a guy was selling a car, right? He wanted it, an equal amount of guns to how much the car was worth. So, currency can be whatever it is that you accept. If a child wants bubble gum, that's currency. You know what I'm saying? Because you're paying that out. The problem is that we only look at the US dollar as currency. And that's like the biggest pushback, because and also what the financial institutions are saying on TV.
Which is funny because they're saying one thing and doing another. right?
Exactly. Yeah.
so that's interesting. Another thing is funny is like what I recognize the older I get, the more I read, the more I study is how we as a people have been, I would say brainwashed, but brandwashed about, our currency, our country, all these things. When you start to travel and get outside of the states, you realize that you go to some countries. I've been to countries where I try to pull out a dollar and they're like, yo, if you don't get that out of here, like,
For sure.
but I've also been to countries where I can live like a king based on the dollar. So,
yeah.
It's depending upon where you're going. But what that taught me is like our money is not the be all end all. And again, when you start to study history and you study, a currency and economic systems, you will look at the dollar completely different. So you'll be less likely to be scared of something like cryptocurrency. But I just wonder what kind of pushback you get from our people, because I could imagine them not wanting to hear you talk about cryptocurrency.
No, they don't want to hear it. I wear shirts, and it's crazy, right? Because when I start talking about it, if there's a white person around, they start asking questions.
Yeah.
Immediately. And that was kind of weird to me. You understand? Because black people are like, well, someone just came up with a currency out of nowhere and I'm supposed to just buy it.
Yeah, that's what the dollar is. That's what the dollar is.
Exactly what the dollar is. Yes, that's exactly what you're supposed to do.
But let me ask you this, right? For our listeners out there, or people that are watching right now, if you had to give them one reason why you're passionate about Black folks being in this space, like what would your commercial be? What would you say to our people about why you believe they should at least study or understand this space?
Because, that's a good question. They should be in the crypto space, right? Because crypto is preparing for a bull run. That's going to be 2017, right? In 2017, there was a bull run where people were turning $300 into $30,000. Okay. And, since we're at the bottom, you understand, I want our people to, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Okay. I want to see our people, rise up. You understand? And because like I said, man, we invented everything, you understand? And we have a tendency to not believe that these sectors are only for white folks. You understand? Because around 400 BC, right? When Rome and everyone was in the Americas, they tried that racism stuff that they're trying today. But, we kicked their behinds and banished them to Europe. You know what I'm saying? And that put them into a period called the Dark Age. You understand? Because they couldn't see what was going on in Africa and America, right? So, don't let them get their revenge. You understand? Don't let them do that. Get into this space. You understand? I mean, you have coins that are 50 cents that are going to $2, $5. And everyone has 50 cents. Let's just be honest. And study this, because this is the future of currency. This is becoming a digital world. You understand? So, of course, the currency will be digital. And, get into this, man, while the governments and the institutions or the whales of the rich people are buying this stuff up. You understand? Because Bitcoin is going to become the currency of the rich, literally. You understand? This is something where there's only 19 million of them. Right now, there are 19 million, and it's going to take to like 2040 to get to 21 million. You understand? So this was built to last. You know what I'm saying? And we can pass this currency down to our children. You understand? Because they're already building Bitcoin friendly cities right now. You know, there's actually one being built in Texas. You understand? And it's also one of the largest mining rigs, if not the largest mining rig in the United States.
Interesting.
You know,
Okay.
you know, I don't want us to be last,
No,
like
I
we
got you.
always are.
I
Yeah,
got you. I got you. I
you
got
sound
you.
like me. There's
No,
money
because
being made
basically,
out here. There's money being made out here. So let's get
Yeah,
on the streets and get some.
yeah,
exactly.
it sounds like what you're trying to say. Some of what you're saying is a huge transfer of wealth going on.
Yeah.
And we've already seen transfers of wealth in the real estate industry in our neighborhoods. We've seen transfers of wealth in the stock market. I mean, one is going on literally right now during this pandemic.
Yeah, man. Like you want to talk about transfer of wealth? All the mom and pop stores, 40% of the mom and pop stores is permanently closing, but Amazon, Facebook, and Shopify and all of these is reaching their all-time highs. So that'll tell you the transfer of wealth went from the big, Walmart, Target, and all the transfer of wealth went from the everyday person to the big box stores. And so we need to, when we see a transfer of wealth, we have to understand what's happening and get on the front side and not get kicked off to the back side, like be on the back side, on the back end of it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I know you agree with that, Russ, because that's in every industry, and that's in pretty much every industry, right? Whether we're talking about the stock market, whether we're talking about the crypto market, we're talking about retail, we can talk about gold, silver, all of these things. We kind of get left behind, so we need to be in the forefront and be operating in all these spaces, man. So it's interesting to hear you talk about that. Let me ask you this question. You talked about a couple books already. If you had to give your favorite book, whether it be investment or non-investment, what would be your favorite book?
It would always be When Rocks Cry Out. You understand? Because that book opened my eyes to almost everything that was being hidden. Not everything.
Got you. All right, so that's a good choice. That's a good choice.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, man. Listen, this has been an interesting talk, man, because we wanted to have you on as someone who talks constantly. You're online and you're talking about the crypto space and you're talking to our people, and I was wondering your perspective on why, because you're very passionate about us getting in this space. Corey, you have any questions for us?
Yeah, I do. I have a couple questions. You said you want to get into teaching. What are you doing to get that piece of your future started?
I have a list of 35 long-term coins, right? That I sell with the potential to go up 1,000 to 10,000% within 12 to 18 months. And everyone that's purchased the list, they get free consultations from me where I show them how to buy the coins and why they should buy these coins. You understand? Because one thing I believe, right? Cryptocurrency is going to be the biggest wealth transfer of our lifetime. You understand?
I just watched the government give out $2 billion, $3 billion in 30 days. You telling me it's going to be bigger than that?
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this.
Listen, I'm not mad at you.
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah.
I got a question about that though, because you talked about those 35 coins, right? So
yeah,
I wouldn't consider myself a Bitcoin maximalist, but I will say that I like to read the white papers of a lot of these projects, and to me, a lot of it is garbage, and a lot of it, to me, we got the term shit coins. A lot of them are shit coins, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, even when I read the white paper, I'm like, yo, why are they pumping this? This is good. This will never work. I'm not gonna name any coins, but it's a lot of that, and a lot of them are on Coinbase, Gemini. They're in the big platforms. A lot of that is bullshit. And also, when I look at Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? So to me, those are the two that, if I had to take my money and put my money just in a couple coins, those would be the two, because they're proven. Now I understand that there's gains to be made in the other coins, but how many coins do you think will be successful in the long run? Because it's like a coin, like damn near every day at this point. It's always something. There's always something new that people are pumping. There's a lot of pump and dump in that sector. So how do you stay away from the BS is my question.
Like you said, read the white pages, and most importantly, check the volume, right? Check the volume. You understand? Like there's a new industry, the DeFi industry, the decentralized finance, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are a bunch of garbage coins in that, okay?
A lot of them.
Yeah.
But there are some excellent coins, right, with long-term potential. You understand? And DeFi is going to change the world. You understand? I mean, if you want to make some money, man, buy insurance on these new coins, right? And if they have a bad contract, then guess what? You get paid. Because the coin goes to zero, you get paid. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, explain that to it. Explain what you mean by buying insurance.
Okay. There's insurance on a lot of these coins, right? You can buy. What is the? Let me go check the actual name of the company. Okay. And I'll tell you in a second. Okay. Okay. Nexus Mutual. Okay. Nexus Mutual, right? You understand? You can buy insurance on some of these coins, and if they have flawed contracts, right? Because a lot of these DeFi coins had flaws, and he went to zero. You understand? And if you're good enough to find a coin that you feel like that will be flawed, you send a couple dollars, buy some insurance on it, and get paid.
I never
when
heard
it goes
of
to zero.
That's a whole other hustle right there. That's similar. That's similar to buying a put, I guess.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there are other coins with 74% staking. You understand? 74. Yeah. I mean, you can go on these platforms, legitimate platforms, and lend your crypto. You understand, for up to 100% returns. Decentralized finance is literally going to make banks obsolete. You understand? And they even have fake coins, right? There are fake coins, right? Example, like you'll have a YFI, right? And someone will come out with a fake YFI, right? When you're searching through CoinGecko, that's definitely a good site for crypto. It's much better than CoinMarketCap, right? You'll see literally like 3 or 4 different coins, right? But only one has a star on it. You want to look for the one with the star in it, because if not, you're going to get ripped off.
See, so this is the thing, right? So, and that's one of the parts that scares a lot of folks.
Yeah.
Because it is decentralized, all right? So it's away from, well, at least we believe it to be away from like the traditional systems. But that also leads to a lot of what you're talking about, which can scare some folks away.
Yeah.
But that's why, like, when I'm talking about the space, I always talk about like Bitcoin and Ethereum just for a novice, because when you get deep into the space, you'll see what you're talking about. That can scare folks away because the government ain't there to back you up. Like, I've seen people send crypto to a wrong address and it's gone forever.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that before too. There's a platform, right, called Celsius, okay? That's where you get paid interest. Like, let's say if you buy SNX, right, you can get up to 16% interest, right? Celsius is insured by Lloyd's of London, okay? So if anything happens to your crypto, you're covered. You understand? And hopefully that can ease people's minds with that. You understand? Because like, in case if you might forget your wallet, your private keys, or your word phrase, you can always keep it on Celsius, and you can earn interest on your coins.
Got you.
Like, example, like Link, right? Last week the interest rate was 2%. This week it's 4.5%. And you get paid weekly interest. In 3 months I've made almost $400. Not a lot of money, but That's extra crypto.
But
I
when you
mean,
compare
you just made four. I mean, in a bank, if you're gonna get $400, you got to put like $200,000 in there to get $400. No BS. You got to literally have about 200 grand in there to get $400.
No, that's the thing. That's all passive. That's without lifting the finger. No, but I just wanted to bring that up because I know a lot of people will listen to this and hear this, and they'll start to get scared when you talk about those kind of frauds and fake coins and all those things.
Yeah.
Which is why, like, for people starting out in the space, first off, get educated. Make sure you study and understand what's going on, but then don't jump into some of the shit coins because believe me, it's a lot of garbage out there. But that also shows me how powerful it is because when you start to see that junk get there, that means that people recognize that it's a lot of money flowing that way. A lot of money flowing into that industry. When you talk to anyone from out like Silicon Valley, they'll tell you that pretty much all the new startups are blockchain startups. So that shows you something as well. Man, Russ, man, I just want to thank you for your time, man, and thank you for what you do in terms of trying to educate folks, using the history, but also talking about the currencies and the money. So before we get out of here, though, I do want to ask you this: outside of the options, outside of the crypto, is there any other space that you're looking to get involved in?
I was thinking about the real estate because my stepson, he wants to. He doesn't want any job because he sees how his stepfather and his mother live.
Got you.
So and I know you guys are experts on that.
Yeah. So the thing is that we've had a lot of real estate folks on here. I'm a real estate guy myself, but one of the reasons I want to talk to you is because I like to talk to people who are in multiple spaces because what Corey said, when Corey says that there's a transfer of wealth going on in different spaces, it happens in real estate too. So we need to, be knowledgeable, talk to folks and meet folks that look like us who are in all of these spaces. But, if your stepson and you need any help in real estate, reach out. Anything that I can do, I definitely will help you with that. But, is money being made there too? Is money being made in all of these spaces? But I want to make sure that we get an adequate representation. I'm looking to find someone black now who specializes in art, right? So because I know there's money being made in art. I just read an article this past week. A baseball card just sold for $3.9 million, and I got into the trap of Mike Trout's rookie card just broke a record. LeBron had the previous record. His rookie card 0.8. Someone just paid 3.9 for a Mike Trout card. Now, mind you, this is in the middle of a global pandemic, and Mike Trout just made someone a millionaire that he's probably never met, and all they did was have that asset, right? So there's money being made in alternative assets.
Yeah.
There's millions of dollars being made in comic books. There's millions of dollars being made in trading cards, crypto, stock, real estate, gold, silver, you name it, technology. There's millions of dollars being made all over the place, and we need to kind of be aware of it and be in those spaces. So what you're doing is very important, Russ, and I want to say we appreciate you.
Yeah. Man, I appreciate y'all, man, for having me, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. And we're going to, put a link so people can get in touch with you to ask you any specific crypto questions or anything they have. But keep doing what you're doing and keep spreading that word about the cryptocurrency within our community, man. I think it's very, very important, man.
Show the people love, man. You're great. You out here doing great things, man. When you want to teach, like you said, money ain't a thing; it'll come, man. You out here teaching.
Yeah, and the half of the list. Oh,
no, go ahead.
Still here?
Yeah,
okay. Half of the list, the money of the list goes to someone else. Because, I don't really care about making money, man, teaching. You know what I'm saying? Person buys my list. I'll do free consultations. I start them off with something like Link. You understand? Because I believe Link is going to $50 by the end of the month. I mean, by the end of the year. It's something easy. It's on Coinbase, XTZ, that's another good one. Bat, these are
Told you, man, they call me Jeff Tezos out here, man.
Jeff Tezos.
I have all of those coins.
No doubt.
I can teach a safe alternative. If just buying Bitcoin. Experts are saying Bitcoin is going to go to 100 grand by next year. And what people don't know, a lot of the institutions they have money set aside for crypto, but they're not going to put it into the market until Bitcoin reaches 50,000.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Now, once Bitcoin reaches 50,000, it's going to hit 100 really quickly.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, institutions like buying at the top. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, because also is I mean, not that they need anymore, but it's proof.
They wouldn't be buying at the top because my thing is they're gonna sell it back to you for 110.
Not only that,
run to 100, they're gonna sell it back to you for 110.
Not only that, they've already been buying. That's all they've already been buying. So it's funny because I always tell people to don't just listen to what people say. Watch what they do.
You gotta watch what they do. The sleight of hand, institutional sleight of hand is crazy because they've been telling this since 2016, 27 on the 2017 bull run. They were saying crypto stink, and then they start buying a gang of crypto. They just start buying it.
Yeah, you have to remember, man. Crypto is their competition. You understand? They're buying it because they want you to come to them. You understand? Because most people already feel like they need banks. So if the banks are doing crypto, they're going to go to the banks.
Listen,
you understand where they
you gotta watch what people do and not listen to what they say. Warren Buffett spent like 25 years talking dirty about gold and silver, but he just bought into gold. He made money in silver a couple of years ago. People act like that didn't happen. All the while telling you, no, don't get into this. Like he plays the role of this, like this old granddad that gives you wisdom. But watch what he does, not just listen to what he says.
Yeah,
I watch executives from Goldman Sachs talk filthy about crypto, and now they have their own. USDC is Goldman Sachs base. The one that's on Coinbase is a partnership between Coinbase and Goldman Sachs. So watch what they do, man. Because the one thing about banks is they're not in business to lose money; they're in business to make money. That's what their business is. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, and I apologize for the folks. Listen, I didn't mean to get on a rant here, but talking to Russ got me real passionate about this because I want our folks to win the same way he does. And a lot of times, they hit us with the okie doke and the sleight of hand, but you got to just pay attention to what's going on out there and watch what people doing, man. Watch where they're putting their money and put your money there. You did?
Just buy Bitcoin. You understand? Buy Bitcoin, and in 2 to 3 years, you'll be glad you did.
There you go. Let's stop it right there, man. Because I think that's the message right there, man. Listen, man, Core. Before we get out of here, you got any last words, Core?
Appreciate your time, man. Thanks for coming out.
Please.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. I'm gonna have to come up there and come to New Caney, which is about 5 minutes away.
I know. I'm right down the street, literally.
Man, y'all be careful out there in them Texas streets, man. Listen to the folks out there watching, man. Thank you again for all your continued support. I hope you got something from this episode. We talked a lot about the cryptocurrency space, which is intentional because we want you to pay attention. We're not trying to sell you anything like that, but go do some research and please learn about this sector. Because it's the future. You know what I mean? Russ, thank you again. And as we always say, it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much you keep. Game elevates, and we'll see y'all in the next episode. Peace.
All right. Peace.